Hello and welcome back to Management Snippets. This time over, we are going to discuss about etiquette to be maintained with foreign customers and foreign visitors. Whether you are in the marketing stream or of the supply chain stream, or in fact, today there is no difference because it is a globalized economy, and then India is the center point of attraction for the global economy today. So irrespective of whichever department you are, I'm sure you'll be interacting with foreign visitors, whether in the technical shop floor department or wherever. So one thing which we should be very much be sensitive about is the cultural differences when foreign visitors are coming, and how the etiquette to be maintained. Because the culturally, if we talk about us Indians, we are very open culture people, wherein we try to be close to people at the very first instance itself. There was an incident wherein U.S. president was visiting India, and the Indian team and led by the Indian prime minister, uh, they were calling him by his first name, and we could all see the embarrassment on his, though he was trying to hide it. There was a visible embarrassment on the face of the US president when repeatedly he was being addressed with his first name, because the first name is not to be addressed at all, if possible, because in an informal meeting, the person has to be addressed by the surname or the last name, unless the person allows you or communicates to you that you can address me with the first name, or else you need to be very close, a close friends or something, can people like that can address by first name, but heads of state addressing by first name, uh, and we could see the visible embarrassment on the face of the visiting dignitary. So these things are best avoided, especially when in a corporate environment, when we are hosting people from abroad, because many countries have their own cultural differences. There was a very infamous incident happened when the Japanese and the Americans were interacting. And the Americans have this somewhat informal culture sometimes, and the Japanese, as you know, is very conservative. And there is something called a personal space, wherein the personal space of the Japanese, depending on the culture, it differs. Because for Indians, we have a certain personal space, and if somebody is intruding into that space, I'm talking about the physical space. If somebody is coming closer than what that space is, then we try to walk back and we try to retreat. This is you can see, observe with every people, especially the Japanese Eastern cultures are somewhat conservative, and there are a lot of it was the talk of the town when this was observed by the company management or a consultant, and then it was pointed out to the Americans that you have to maintain a healthy distance, physical distance with the Japanese, so that they feel comfortable. So these are all things which one needs to keep in mind when, and then if you are handshaking, it said that if it's a lady uh, dignitary or the visitor coming from abroad, then she has to initiate the handshake. So it's not that you have to just go and force a handshake with her. It is better that she initiate the handshake, and the handshakes also have to be you know properly tight, but it has to be tight grip, but not to the extent of squeezing the other person's palms, or neither it should look feeble. So this all these things needs to be taken kept in mind. And one other thing, which is the dressing, which needs to be taken care of, because not many European cultures or the American cultures, sometimes they have very informal nature, but it's not. For us Indians, we keep a decent dressing sense. Uh, in most of our meetings, we come formal with formal dresses, and with the advent of these software companies in India, also we are seeing this trend wherein people come to meetings, people come to the offices in casual dresses, which one could not even imagine maybe 25 to 30 years back. but the cultures are changing thanks to the overwhelming influx of Western companies to India. And but having said that, when dealing with foreign visitors, it is better to be safe and formal than becoming informal and trying to embarrass the visitor, because initially till the time that both the parties are comfortable with each other, uh, it is better not to be informal. It is better not to be casual. The dressing should be formal, and the handshakes to be formal, and not to be called by the first name. Always try to call by the second name, and it's better to add Mr. or Miss to the surnames when they are being addressed. And it's better to gauge the personal space of the visiting dignitary. You can gauge them by their reactions as you get closer to them, especially in the parties and all. So these are all things to be kept in mind while dealing with foreign dignitaries. And this is from the various experience that I have had with many people, including the Japanese, the Americans, the Germans, how they interact and the differences, the nuances of the culture, which needs to be kept in mind. And there are, in fact, in good companies, there are people who would be training on, suppose a delegation is coming from a particular country. There will be a training given to the host executives about the cultural nuances of the visiting dignitaries or the visiting country, so that they can plan the host, plan the ceremonies and the hosting niceties accordingly. This was about this episode. Thank you so much.